Aita For arguing with my fiancé and refusing to let her niece be the flower girl instead of my sister. Mine, M23, and my fiancé's, F22, wedding is this month. Wedding planning has been literally a nightmare. Her mom keeps stomping boundaries and changes any plans we come up with to have a decent wedding and not let me ruin it and embarrass her. Her mom thinks I'm a kid, she calls me son, and it's so annoying and inappropriate. My fiancé is the youngest in the family and I'm the youngest son-in-law in the family, that's why I got this nickname. Anyways, my fiancé and I already discussed and decided to have my 9-year-old sister be the flower girl. She has mild cerebral palsy but she's functioning and does good at school. She's had people make comments about her and she's very sensitive, so she'd get upset because of these inconsiderate people's comments. My sister's is on cloud 9 ever since she was told she will be the flower girl. She got her dress and so far she's tried it on more than 5 times, asking me when I'm going to have the wedding, which is sweet. Thing is, my fiancé came to tell me last week that we will be making changes in terms of menu/invitation cards because her mom recommended other things instead of what we agreed on. According to her mom, I have no idea what a good decent wedding look like and wanted to save us, herself, from embarrassment. I let it go and didn't say anything because my fiancé told me these are small issues and that I needed to go with the flow. Okay, no problem, but to suggest that we picked the wrong girl to be the flower girl was the straw that broke the camel's back. She actually said she wasn't sure how my sister will behave at the wedding and that we shouldn't take chance and just pick her niece instead. I told her no, not gonna happen. Like, I gave my parents and my sister my word. No way I'm going to make her upset and sad and let the niece take her place. My fiancé threw a fit and said I was overreacting, that my sister still gets to wear her dress but sit with the crowd instead of walking down the aisle. We've been arguing over this the whole week and I'm now supposed to call her and say okay, but I refused and I'm standing my ground and wanting my sister to be the flower girl despite what others say because this offends me and my family. Edit. People say that we can have more than one flower girl, but my mother-in-law doesn't think my sister should even be included as one. She wants her sitting like a guest the whole time, thinking she might misbehave, where in fact my sister isn't like that at all. She's well behaved and smart, even better than other kids. My fiancé seems to agree since she wants me to say yes. You sure about this marriage? NTA. To be honest, I'm starting to doubt whether any of this is going to change. Try to keep the peace, but if this continues then I just can't take it. I love my fiancé, but my sister is my world. I can't stand to see her sad just because my mother-in-law wants her way. It's ridiculous that she thinks she has control over my wedding and everything else. NTA, but you're about to marry one from a family of them. Let's take a stroll through your next 20 years. You're married and looking into buying a house. Mill finds one just down the street from her. Convenient to your workplace? Who cares? Don't be so embarrassing thinking you know anything about home ownership. Steamrolled. Time to have kids. IDK, but Mill sure does. When to start, how many to have and how far apart to space them. And they must be named after Mill's parents, of course. Don't bother with your childish opinions. Buying a new sofa for that house down the block? Refer to the expert. Oh, and speaking of your kids, your sister probably can't be trusted to hold the baby. And birthday parties, she might act up and ruin it. Maybe she should really stay home instead. Holidays, it would be unseemly not to spend them all with the in-laws. What will people think if you go somewhere else to celebrate? Really? Think of someone else for a change. Can you handle this on top of your Mill's attitude toward your sister and your fiancé's support of that ableism? Exclamation mark. Sounds like fun. If only there were warning signs before the wedding. Oh wait. This is a hill to die on. Agreed, this is the hill to die on. Aita For telling my sister Reddit's favorite play stupid games and win stupid prizes. My 24F sister 27F is the golden child. She always gets her way at anything she wants if our parents can give it to her. Clothes, college, car, phone, anything she asks for, and it doesn't matter if something is left for us or not. This turned my sister into a total ranging bitch whom everyone hates, and when I say everyone is everyone, she already has 3 divorces at 27, she doesn't have any friends, our cousins, our uncles would rather not come if she's here, and well, she hates us too. But me especially, since I'm the only other daughter that my parents have. They don't love me as much like her, it's pretty obvious, but my brothers do, and she despises me for that. One of the things that drive her crazy more than anything, it's our career. We are both architects. I studied it because I've always been interested in it, and she did it to spite me. She tried to force me to get into another one because she wanted to be the only architect in the family. I put my foot down and said that she was no one to force anything and that I was going to study any shit that I wanted. Needless to say, my parents stopped talking to me for a whole month, and my older brother paid for my first year since they retained my college fund. Even when she went into a much better college, I got my info sent to an important architectural office by one of my teachers. They contacted me and set an interview. I knew I shouldn't have said anything, but I was so proud that I called my parents to let them know. They acted happy for me, smooched all the info, and when I was done, they told me to let my sister go instead of me and that I could get something else. I said obviously no, and they tried to guilt trip me by saying that I already stole her career and that I couldn't do the same with her job. I just snorted and hanged up. I thought that they would drop it, but when I presented to my interview they told me that my name had already come, broke some expensive shit, and threatened to sue them for sexual harassment while they dragged her to the exit. I was confused because I didn't do any of that and showed them my ID, my papers, and the recommendation letter from my teacher. It turned out that my sister was the one who came to the interview, and when they didn't let her pass because my appointment was later, she went batshit crazy and ran when they were calling the police. I was so ashamed and enraged that I gave them her whole info, and they sent a police officer to our house to get her arrested for property damage and fraud. My parents obviously helped her out, and when she got out of jail my parents demanded an apology. I just said play stupid games and win stupid prizes. My parents kicked me out because I got her arrested and made fun of her. I moved with my brother and got the job. My parents don't talk to me anymore. Maybe I was TA after all. I miss them a lot and I caused them trouble. NTA. I don't see any way you could possibly be TA with the info you gave. Your sister and parents are nuts, and if I were you I'd be glad to not have to deal with them anymore. NTA. I would cut everyone but your brothers out. What a fucking nightmare. Aita For holding my stepsister's mother's ashes until she returns my dog to me. Throw away because this whole drama is stupid. I am ashamed of it. I 20F was temporarily living with my mother, stepfather and stepsister 14. Me and stepsister were never close. She hates me and my mother, thinking that my mother stole her father away after her own mother passed. It has been that way for 4 years already, and while she is in slightly better terms with my mother, she still constantly tries to disturb me because I am not as tolerant as my mother. As for my stepfather, he is quite okay, but he would pretend to ignore me in front of my stepsister sometimes because she would throw a fuss about it. I was supposed to move to a rather far place to work and study. My father arranged for me to move in after renovations are done, bringing my dog with me. When I first brought my dog to my mother's a few months ago, my stepsister seemingly fell in love with him. At first it was just me taking care of him, then we took turns taking him out. For a while I even thought that we could have gotten along better because we both love the dog. And one day my sister returned without my dog and announced that she had given him away, just to spite me. She got what she wanted, and no matter how nicely or nastily I asked her, she wouldn't tell me where she took him. I complained it to my mother and stepfather, but they couldn't get her to talk either. She had this attitude of try me whenever she gets stubborn. I was to move in 2 days, and I guess she wanted to keep my dog for herself or make me miss my cross-country train. I know it is despicable, but I was worried for my pup and whatever she could have done with him. I sneaked into her room when she was not looking and took her mother's ash urn. I know this was precious to her, precious enough to be used to make her talk. I hid the urn somewhere she would never find. Sure enough, My stepsister lost it completely when she realized what I did, and similarly I'd never talk no matter what my mother or stepfather say. After all those screaming and crying, she finally gave in and admitted that she brought him to her friends. After taking the trip and passing my dog back to me, she demanded to have the urn back, but I did not tell her until my day of departure, in case she wanted to pull some sick prank again. Everybody I know of, including my own father, thinks that I took it too far. While in the end nothing really bad happened, I did it in the worst way possible, quoted by my mother, who did nothing to help either. It was my stepsister who started it. She knew how important my pup is to me and she tried to take him away from me, so I used similar way to make her return him, and it worked. I didn't do it out of spite, just making use of what I could to get my dog back. So in this case, Aita? NTA, I have a dog. If anyone tries to steal it, I would do the same or worse. You did a good thing standing up for a dog. I salute you. NTA, congrats to you for finding a creative solution. However, this does mean probably never letting anyone in your extended family into your home for more than a minute, as a precedent for ransoming has now been established. Watch your back. Still worth it though. Your stepdad pretends to ignore you when she's around? Seriously? Why does your mum allow them to treat you like crap? Because she's scared of the child too. Future shitty adult in the making if everyone is too afraid to stand up to her. NTA. But dang. Your parents need to step it up. She is a problem.